heard the term waste not, want not? It's kind of what I'm doing here today. Yesterday, it wasn't yesterday, the day before yesterday, I went out to my freezer and I got all the bags of frozen tomatoes that I could find. Last year was kind of a mess around here, and the best that I could do at the time was harvest whatever tomatoes had not rotted on the vine yet and throw them in freezer bags in the freezer. And I figured I would deal with them when I could. So now is that time. Also, I made chicken broth with the bones of the canned curry that I made the other day. I saved all the carcasses, boiled them down, made chicken broth, and canned those. I know a lot of people just discard bones and things like that from chickens that they consume, but you can save them, you can store them up. Even if you get the rotisserie chickens, you can still save those bones, put them in the freezer. When you get enough of them, just throw them in a pot, make yourself some chicken broth. I know that there's been like a meme going around the internet that's something like you're about to figure out why your grandma saved her tin foil, and for a lot of people that's been kind of true. I know that food prices are going sky high, incomes are definitely not keeping pace with that, and so it can be very difficult to make ends meet. And waste not, want not kind of comes from that sort of mentality. If you make use of everything that you have, you are much less likely to be left wanting or needing something. So tomatoes that would have rotted off the vine, chicken that would have just been thrown in the garbage, becomes things that you can use to make a meal with. I definitely know I am not the only one who is experiencing this ridiculous cold spell that is going on. I woke up this morning, it was -5 degrees, okay? I'm currently living in Missouri. I am from a very maritime climate in Washington state. The coldest temperature that I had ever experienced before moving to Missouri was 18 degrees Fahrenheit, plus 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Last year was the same thing. It got frigid cold for like a week straight, and it's looking like this year we're gonna get the same thing. So I don't do cold very well. Our house is apparently not insulated very well, and our furnace is only able to maintain 65 degrees. So we need to start running our wood furnace to keep up with that. I'm gonna hopefully be able to con my husband into getting that thing started up when he wakes up. Anyways, it's time to start running this thing through a food mill. I tried running it through the food mill before I put it into the roaster, but it was still partially frozen, and it was ridiculous trying to get that thing through the food mill. And I know it's a lot easier to run it through the food mill when it's hot. So we're gonna do that now and then can it up. One thing that I'm trying this time, and I'm really liking the results of it, is not just using a food mill, because I always use a food mill for something like this to get out the seeds and the seeds and the skins. I know a lot of people like to save the seeds and the skins and they dehydrate them and make tomato powder. I don't do that. I instead turn it into bacon. This will be pig food. And the reason for that is the high oxalate content that is in the skins of them, and I have a sensitivity to oxalates, so I don't choose to do that. But what I am doing differently this time is, the first time, like usual, I ran it through with the medium size disc that comes with it. It comes with a disc and it's got all these little holes in it. This time around, while exceedingly more work to push everything through the grate, I'm running it through a second time through the smallest one, and it is getting out all of the seeds, all of them, which is divine. I should say, I have not seen a single seed fall through, and looking at the size of the seeds, I don't think it's humanly possible for it to go through the thing. So it's taking a lot more turning, but I think it'll be worth it in the end for, you know, better digestive health and less pain, because it's painful for me. It's been a hot minute. It's 4 o'clock in the evening now, pre-evening, whatever you want to call it. This is really hot. It feels nice. I warmed up the tomatoes after I finished. My hands are frozen. I just came inside from doing my evening chores, and it feels really nice. My hands are so cold. But anyways, so now we're ready to go ahead and can these up. Had a delay in the evening, had to make food for hubby to take to work. I made rolls and like some barbecue beef stuff, and Robert was able to get the furnace up and running. So now it is a nice toasty 67 at least in here. The furnace has had a chance to take a little bit of a break, which is maybe good, maybe good, maybe bad. Not sure which one that is. But anyways, we're ready to can this up. I don't know if I'm the lone weirdo that does this. Honestly, it makes so much sense to me. I don't know why I've never seen anybody ever do it. But I can't stand ladles. They're so little and they're so irritating. So I just use these big Pyrex Pyrex measuring cups. And it's just so easy. Oh, almost forgot. Shucks. I need to go double check my canning times. Hold, please. For the life of me, I cannot figure out where on earth my citric acid went. So fancy bottle of lemon juice. When you're canning up tomatoes, for some reason, whether you're pressure canning them or boil bath canning them, they say you need to put in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice per quart. It doesn't make sense to me if you're gonna pressure can it, but what else? The chart on this is super bizarre, but it's so I'm above 1,000 feet elevation. So, and it gives me options. I can do 10 pounds of pressure for 20 minutes or 15 pounds of pressure for 15 minutes. Based on my elevation, I usually do 15 pounds of pressure. So I'm just gonna go with the 15 pounds of pressure for 15 minutes. But let me get my tablespoons. Whoa. Can't forget the salt, at least for me. Got a little leftovers we can toss in the fridge and just use them in a meal over the next couple of days. I don't even think there's enough in there to make a pint. What I am curious. Nope, definitely not, but still gotta put it in a jar and put in the fridge anyways, right? This is obviously not a detailed how to can video. This is more just like, I don't know. I suppose I'm just trying to inspire people to make the most of what they got. You know, like if you come across a sale on some kind of vegetable, like if you run across a sale in the middle of summer for tomatoes and they're like super dirt cheap for whatever the price is in your area. I don't know, I haven't bought a tomato in a very long time, but whatever the price is, and it's insanely cheap, right? You can always buy those, even if you don't have the time to process them, then look up whatever the vegetable is, tomatoes for example. You can literally just cut out the core, cross the bottoms, and throw them in the freezer in a bag, right? And then you got them for whenever you have the time now, when it's cold season, there's not a whole lot going on, and then you can put them on your pantry shelf. That's another reason that canning is such a wonderful skill to have, and it's such a wonderful thing to have the tools and the equipment in order to can. If you want to can tomatoes in a water bath canner, you can. You don't even need a pressure canner for it. I just prefer to put it in the pressure canner. It's less messy and it's quicker, and I don't know, I've always preferred, if I have the option to pressure can, I do. So if you're looking for ways that you can save money, the best thing that you can do is buy it in season. Well, really grow it, but buy it in season when you have the ability to get it. It's super dirt cheap. You can get it on sale, and then you can process it whenever your schedule fits you. And you can also process it yourself, which this for me personally was free. The only thing it's going to cost me is the cost of these 4 jars lids. Everything else was free because I grew it. If you buy a quart of organic tomato sauce in the store, I don't know the price on them. I haven't bought tomato sauce in a long time because I just make my own when it's in season and I have it on the shelf all year long. That's just an example of the power of being able to preserve your own food. You can buy it when it's in season, preserve it, and have it all year long. So basically you're getting sale price all year long, even though it's not really sale price, but that's what you paid. We're working on clearing out our freezer because we grew 2 hogs, and the mobile butcher came yesterday and processed them and took them to the butcher. So now we are kind of double time and trying to clean out the freezer. But anyways, I was out there looking for stuff. We also have stuff out there that's just not fit for human consumption anymore. So I was out there trying to get some pig feed for tomorrow to let it thaw out, and I came across some beef bones that I'm really excited about because I have a couple of soup recipes that I want to make that are gonna call for beef broth. So I figured why not just use fresh beef broth so I don't have to use canned stuff and can it twice, which denatures the proteins in them twice. Let's just do it once and hopefully we'll still have some remaining. And that's all it takes to make some of the most delicious, amazing beef bone broth you will ever have in your entire life. All made with stuff that typically a lot of people just throw away. I know that soup bones are not necessarily the most inexpensive way to get them. So usually if we don't have soup bones, I just save up bones from whatever kind of meat, roast, stuff like that we get. I just save it in a Ziploc bag in the freezer. And when the bag gets full, I make a pot of bone broth. The key to it, however, I have found, I've tried it the wrong way and it was disgusting. If you don't roast off those bones, it's going to taste putrid, in my opinion, with beef. It's not like that with chicken, but beef, most definitely, you have to roast them off in the oven, get a nice caramely brown color. Oh, it's so delicious. And of course, we're making use of the heat that's coming off of the oven for roasting all of these bones, and I'm gonna make some rolls. Make sure you guys are staying tuned because with this beef broth, we're gonna be making a couple of different canning recipes for the hubby, and I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. If you wanna know more in detail how to make bone broth, make sure you check out this video right here that goes into all the details, all the sciencey cool stuff, as well as the how-to, lots of different ways that you can make bone broth. Peace out, sauerkraut.